So, with X-Men on its way back in the MCU, well, Marvel in general, back in the good graces, and obviously with the 90s cartoon coming back soon, I kind of figured it'd be kind of fun to do like a pitch for a X-Men cartoon. Wolverine in particular. Why Wolverine? Because he's the most popular, and if I'm thinking like a Disney executive, I'm already thinking of a Wolverine cartoon. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, is that with this, basically, is that I'm going to be going in by the parameters of, like, a young adult kids cartoon. Like, this would be something you'd see, like, in the vein of, like, in the age range you would have with Amphibia or Gravity Falls or something like that. And you could say, oh, Wolverine can't work like that, the 90s cartoon would like a word with you. So, yeah, don't come at me with that bullshit. Wolverine and the X-Men would like a word with you. X-Men Evolution! Literally, there hasn't been a bad X-Men cartoon. Yeah, totally not a bad one. Anyway. So yeah, and again, you're probably thinking, well, why not a full-on X-Men cartoon? Well, there is an idea, and I do have an idea for an X-Men one, and I did do a video long ago of talking about this idea, and if this video does well, I'll probably bring that back and revamp it a bit. But this, right now, we're focusing on Wolverine, and one other character. You'll understand in a moment. So, let's get started. Now, this cartoon is not just Wolverine. That's the thing, is that this isn't just a Wolverine cartoon. This is a Wolverine and Shadowcat cartoon. Like, this pitch is a Wolverine and Kitty Pryde show. Like, yeah, you have the other X-Men here. We're all living in the mansion. It's still a school, but the stories and a lot of the X-Men stuff is centered around, like, all the stuff with the X-Men, but it's all from the perspective of Kitty Pryde with Wolverine at her side. I think I just rhymed there. So that's the idea in a whole, is that we're taking like the early Chris Claremont stories of Kitty Pryde bonding with Wolverine and doing that. There was actually a comic a long while back called Wolverine First Class, which was really just Kitty Pryde and Wolverine going on adventures together. So that's the premise of this pitch, is that it's a Wolverine and Kitty Pryde show. Not romantic. It's more like imagine Luz and Ida. Like, that's how I kind of it's like Luz and Ida, the begrudging parental figure who's done a lot of horrible stuff but wants to do right by the kid. And we have the young, wide-eyed young student willing to learn. So this story would begin with Kitty being brought to the mansion, and she's brought to the school, and she would be introduced to all the other X-Men, and eventually she would be said, like, well, we're going to pair you with someone as a teacher. You know, someone's going to be at your side to be a teacher. That someone is Wolverine, who Wolverine would be like, are you freaking serious right now? I have to be a babysitter? You know, does this look like a babysitter to you? Does this look like a teacher? And Cyclops would immediately go, Logan, you are technically a teacher at this faculty, you know, so you're gonna do this. Professor's orders. And Logan is like, all right. So the first episode, like the pilot, would more or less be Kitty and Logan learning to work together and stuff like that, because obviously Logan would be kind of like cold, like a little cold and aggressive to her. I know that wasn't like that in the comic, but this is the Wolverine we'd have here. And this would be, if it was a cartoon, it'd be very realistically like that, with Wolverine being pretty cold to her. But eventually, by the end of the pilot, he's like, you're alright, kid, I'll keep you around. So, from then on out, we go on adventures with the X-Men, but it's all from Logan and Kitty's perspective. Like, that's the whole thing, is that you would have other X-Men here. You would have Kitty and Logan interacting with the other X-Men and other mutants, but it would all be the perspective of Logan and Kitty. And even there'd be some adventures where Kitty and Logan just go on stuff together. So, yeah, as for, like, for the first season, here's how I'd pitch the first season, at least, is that it would be very much like we go on separate adventures. We encounter Magneto, who's established. This wouldn't be like the first time meeting Magneto. Magneto would be established. You'd also have the Sentinels. You'd have a few other X-Men villains who are established. But I would have like an overarching thing of Wolverine being hunted by Weapon X. And the story would culminate like Wolverine would eventually be captured at the end of the season, and it's up to Kitty, who has to fight solo because the X-Men are dealing with like a crisis with like Magneto or someone else, and Logan is like captured and separated, and what happens is that Kitty has to break into Weapon X and fight her way through the other like Weapon X mutants like Sabretooth, Deadpool, Maverick, like all of them. She has to fight her way through all of them to save Logan. That would be the first season. The second season would do a lot of like Wolverine in Japan. I would do an episode in season 1 where it talks about Mariko, and eventually do like the Chris Claremont Frank Miller comic of the two of them, but have Kitty in the story too as well. I'd also have, like, obviously, Apocalypse in Season 2. Like, maybe that could be the introduction to Apocalypse. Yeah. But yeah, the first season's a little more put together. So, you're probably wondering, well, who would you have in the voice cast? Like, who would I have in this voice cast for the X-Men? Kitty, I was kind of thinking of Erica Lindbeck. Now, Erica Lindbeck is a very talented voice actress. A lot of you would probably know her best as the voice of Luna from Hell of a Boss. I kind of want Kitty, much like in the comics, where she was kind of like, she could be sassy to Logan, she could also have like a bit of a bite to her, and I can just imagine Erica going, Professor Xavier's a jerk, and, you know, have that whole thing. So I think that would be my pick for... my second pick, and I forget the voice actress's name, and you're going to see a running thing with that, is that the other person I could probably see is the voice actress of Sasha from Amphibia. I kind of imagine that voice actress is also a good pick for Kitty Pryde in here. As for Wolverine... while Steve Blum would probably be the obvious choice to voice Wolverine, I would actually want to bring in not to discredit Steve Blum or Carl Dodd as Wolverine. Please do not think that. Steve Blum, Carl Dodd, both great Wolverines, but I would actually go with and he's voiced Wolverine before. The voice why am I forgetting his name now? But the voice actor for Trevor from Trevor Belmont from Castlevania. That would be my pick. And he's actually voiced Wolverine in a podcast series called The Long Night. So I would actually bring him in again to voice. He's actually also my pick for live action Wolverine as well. Since he played Thorin Oakenshield in the Hobbit trilogy, Richard Armitage. That's the name. Richard. Finally, it came to me. So I would bring back Richard Armitage to voice Wolverine in this cartoon. Anyway, so for other voice actors and actresses, I would love to have, just to change it up, I would love to have Brandon Rogers, who most of you guys would know best. Brandon Rogers he has his own YouTube channel, but most of you guys would probably know him more so as the voice of Blitz from Hell of a Boss. So I think he would be a great Deadpool. Like his delivery, I think he would make an awesome Deadpool. As for who else would I... Oh yeah, Thomas Sorbolov, who most of you guys would know best as the voice of Depth Charge, as well as Shockwave in various Transformer cartoons. He would be my pick for Apocalypse. Like, that dude is my pick for... I think he's just got a deep, resonating voice, so I think he would be an excellent Apocalypse. Corey Burton was my pick for Magneto. Yeah. Sadly, we do. Tom Kane, who voiced Magneto several times, is no longer with us because he suffered a stroke and he retired. So yeah, Tom Kane. We don't have Tom Kane, but I think Corey Burton would be a great pick for him. As for other various X-Men, I forget the actress's name, but the voice actress for Yang from Ruby, she's my pick for Rogue. I would say I should have looked these names up rather than right out the gate. Crap. But anyway, so who did I have? Oh yeah, Jason Ritter. For some reason, I kind of want Jason Ritter to voice Quicksilver, and no, not have Christian Skull as Scarlet Witch. Get that? Stop typing that joke. I know you were. But Jason Ritter would be really cool. I think would be a really cool Quicksilver. Another thing I would like to do in this cartoon I'm pitching is that I'd really like to have them really push Kitty's bisexuality, because remember, Kitty is bisexual. She's like, and don't just say, oh, that was just the thing Jerry Duggan created in Marauders. No, that's always been a thing. Chris Claremont really wanted to do more with it, but Marvel back then wouldn't let him. So I would love to have it we could actually have an established X-Men team, and since she was in love with, she had a crush on Rachel, I'd actually explore more of that with Rachel. Have Rachel Summers in here and have it kind of explore that. And she was attracted to Emma for a while too in Marauders. So I would probably have Emma Frost as a teacher in here. I don't know if I'd have Jean and Emma alive, but I would have Emma here in the show. And maybe you have a passing moment where excuse me, Kitty would go Professor Frost is kind of mean, but she's also pretty cute. And then Emma goes, I heard that, and she points to her, I heard that. So that'd be fun. Anyway, so there's my pitch for for a Wolverine and Kitty Pryde cartoon. You guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this? Like it, hate it? What would you do with this show? Who would you have for voice actors and actresses for the various X-Men characters? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you haven't already, hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, get exclusive content over there. Other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.